So this is kind of exciting. Last night I put together the light, or the beginnings of the light box that I'm going to be using to do photography on my dolls and sets. And I was lucky to find a unfinished piece of furniture that I was working on a couple of years, or no more than that, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I'm going to try one. It was going to be a little teeny chest of drawers, and like most of my furniture designs, was a little eccentric. So it has all sorts of weird bits and pieces on it. Turns out that's perfect for this. I never finished it, and at this point I never will. So I've got this nice poplar and maple frame that I can sort of build stuff around, and I think it's going to work pretty well. I already put enough into it that I could do some tests last night, and the results were pretty positive, which I'm excited about. So what I've got is I have this rather large thing, I'm going to show you, which unfortunately not 100% sure how I'm going to fit it into the studio, because as you can sort of tell, this is not a huge studio. I don't have that much space, and I have other projects going, so this needs to somehow fit into this, and it's just another piece of furniture that there really isn't space on the floor for. So I'm going to try and somehow get it next to the bench where I'm doing my building. We'll make that work somehow. Right now it's in the middle of the floor where it's maximally in the way, but that's the way things are. So what I've got right now is I have this wooden frame, and it's pretty solid. It wobbles a little bit on the ground because the feet are kind of uneven, but if I can shim those up so those are solid, everything else is pretty stable. It doesn't deform or anything, which is good because that means stuff's going to stay in place, camera mounts and things, which is great. And it's got, the convenient thing for this is it's got these two spaces. It has this sort of upper space where one of the drawers was going to be, so that's where the doll is sitting right now, which I walled in with some bits of cardboard from this amazingly nice free sign that someone had on that desk, which I pulled off the side of the road. But they made it out of the best possible cardboard. Who knows why? Anyway, so I chopped that up to make the walls on this thing, and the base of this inner level. And then underneath, I have a second space, which is just an open space under this. That's important because I'm going to need to build a turntable. I haven't done that part yet, but I'm going to build a turntable so that I can set this model on the turntable from underneath, turn it in a very controlled way, and then with this camera, which is bolted to the frame, take the pictures that will become the sprites at very controlled angles. I may even try and automate that. I have a little stepper motor and a Raspberry Pi, which I think I can make a computer controllable turntable. At very least, the photography will be computer controlled because I can run this camera on a tether, and that lets me take pictures and automatically download them to the laptop. So this should be relatively streamlined. And then I've got, this is probably not my finished lighting rig. It's just a shop reflector with a relatively dim LED bulb in it. I think I need something brighter and a plastic diffuser in front. This is, I think, not good because it's not stable, not solid. So at very least, if I use that reflector, I'm going to need to mount it more permanently to this frame, because when I'm taking these pictures, like, I'm going to be shooting for, I don't know, could be a year of the various pieces of this project, and I need to be able to have consistent lighting and consistent camera angles through all of that, through every shot. So I need to be able to hold this stuff really, really solid, and ideally remount it. If I need to take the camera off and do something else with it, I have to be able to get it back onto this mount so that it has the same angle it had before, and similarly with the light. So
this clip, not going to cut it. Works in the shop, but not for this. So I'll probably pull this ring off and build a different mount for this that holds it stable, or maybe try and go get an LED panel that gives me an even more diffuse light than this, because I think that's what I want. So that's what this is. This project's gonna be going on for a little while longer, because I've got more to do. But I'm gonna probably cut these off, because they're just basically in the way, and I don't think I'm gonna want anything back there. And then build the turntable is going to be the most complicated part, and then figure out somehow to shroud this. Like, I'm going to want probably fabric that goes over the light and over the camera and over the box, just to get all the ambient light out. It doesn't need to be pitch black. I just don't want like shadows from these windows in the model as I'm taking pictures, because like I said, I need to be able to control what the lighting looks like so it can stay consistent. So I'll probably shroud this box in something, figure out how to deal with the heat from this lamp. It's an LED bulb, so it's not real hot, but it does need some ventilation. And obviously I need access, which I think will mostly come through here. I probably need to make the shroud removable so I can set stuff up. But I'll probably do most of the work from the front of the box. I don't know, that's going to be a lot of crouching, which may turn out to be impractical. I don't know, we'll see. So that's an ongoing project, but it's super fun. Other than the turntable, the hardest part is going to be figuring out where to put it. I think probably back in this corner. I have an old drafting table, which I need to haul to the junk shop, because realistically I'm never going to use it again, but I'm still kind of in love with it. So it's propped in the corner of my studio, taking up an enormous amount of space. So I'll probably pull that out, pull this stuff out, move this keyboard a little bit, which I can barely even play, but I like the idea of having it there, and then build the box back there where it's convenient to the desk and relatively easy to get at. I don't know. So that's what I'm working on for the next couple of days. Likely we'll continue that project. Also figure out how to do the chroma key. I've cut, I think you can see, this paper is it's green, but it's not solid green. It's a little splotchy, and that's because it's just tagboard that I've painted with this a horrible neon green ink that for some reason I owned. I don't know why I bought this. It's just this terrible color, but turns out that terrible color is sort of the classic chroma key green, and because I hate it so much, it's unlikely to appear in the models, which is perfect, because that's what you want for background removal. So I did a couple of tests with this, and it works pretty well. It's the fact that it's blotchy is actually not that big of a problem. I was sort of surprised. The bigger problem is that the shadow cast by the light is, since the model is very close to the backdrop, the shadow is very sharp and dark, and it sort of shows up right here, and that was interfering with the background knockout. So I think ideally what I would be able to do is I would float the models on some sort of stand or something off the surface of the backdrop, so that shadow is further away, fuzzier, and just a little less pronounced. But I'm not sure that's going to be practical to do, so I think I'm just going to deal with the shadows. And hopefully if I can get a cleaner green or some other color, blue or whatever, that will help with that problem, and I won't need to do that. So at some point in the next couple days, I'm going to go to like a arts and crafts shop and see if I can get some like green poster board or something, and that would let me sort of fill the rest of the box with green without having to hand paint each of these sheets, which wasn't that bad, but I don't know. And then also, again, build the turntable. It somehow has to sit flush in this floor in a way that there's not a problematically visible seam for the background removal. I don't know. I mean, if I have to do a few seconds of post-processing on these things to do a knockout, there's not going to be so many. It's not like I'm shooting hours of video. It's going to be, you know, a few frames here and there of stop motion. So I don't want it to be super effortful, but it's not that big a deal. So I don't know, we'll see. That's the project, and that's going to keep going for a while. And there'll be more video, more footage of me hammering and sawing and drilling and whatever else needs to happen. I mostly measuring and cutting for the turntable, figuring out how to do a bearing that it can sit on. So that's what I'm working on.